The epic Bitcoin crash of the last week while I was away in Maui actually proves to be just an absolutely necessary step in this bullish trend where we see the Bitcoin price coming down and testing that mega pump gateway that took so much energy and conviction to finally break out of. So it makes sense that this came down and touched it. In addition to this, for all of you altcoin holders, we're seeing the altcoin dominance break down like we talked about from this point, flushing through this orange zone and into all the way through this green zone, bouncing much like we had projected here, some sort of bounce here, starting to make that move potentially to the downside, signaling is alt season about to absolutely explode. I think we have an incredible end of the year that we need to be making sure that we're stacking into. We're going to be diving into this in just a few moments. Every single one of you get active in this live chat. We're going to throw to the hold screen and get going here in just a moment. Let's go, baby.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin to flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish shelter. It's not our fault. Blame the cult. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats.
I am back from Maui here looking at these charts, back with the family. We got the live chat getting active here. I got this retweeted on the necessary spots. We have some major things that we need to look at into the charts. I'm so happy to be back. Everybody, let's get active in this live chat. I want to hear a good morning. I want to see a GM and the city that you're tuned in from, and the last, give us the ticker of the last thing that you bought, that you added to in your position. Let's see it. I want to see some GMs, the city, and then the ticker of the last thing that you bought. Let's get active, everybody. Shout out to everybody wherever you're tuned in from, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's over on Rumble, or whether it's here on X as well. So big love to each and every one of you. I hope you're all having an absolutely wonderful day, because we've got some very interesting things going on in the charts, and it kind of feels like people were forgetting this that I shared only a few weeks ago. I mean, actually last month, but these targets to the upside, and that this was before we broke out of this absolutely key zone here, this mega pump gateway that we've outlined on other charts. But it's starting to look more and more likely that we're going to be hitting into these zones. We're getting an overwhelming flood of positive bullish setup, just capital channels coming in on a daily basis, and the support of the executive branch here in the US and the regulatory bodies saying, hey, how do we make sure that we support the crypto ecosystem? And so when we're looking at these likely targets, especially here, it's feeling more and more like this is actually like a target, and this will actually be somewhere more realistically the likely target, somewhere north of $200,000. But shout out, I see you, Richard. We're gonna have to get you back on here in the stream. But we got a lot of things going on in here within this market that is just so exciting. And the best part about all this right now is, as exciting as this might feel like a stupid metric to you, but this is pivotal for how the market moves. And that is this, seeing that the fear and greed is sitting here neutral, sitting at the 54 mark. And yet some people still think every time you have a 1 or 2 or even 3% drop in price action, the market cycle's topped, it's over. What freaking data are you looking at? Because we're not anywhere near overheated, whether you're looking at something very basic like this, just the fear and greed of the market, or if you actually zoom out and look at bigger, more relevant data, like what we see when we look at on-chain data, especially the short-term holder MVRV or the general MVRV, the market value to realized value. In addition to that, there's other metrics like coin value days destroyed, which really gives you a sort of abstracted view of when a lot of older coins are moving. But the interesting fact about where we're at right now in this market cycle, especially the life cycle of Bitcoin, is that We're hovering up above this $100,000 level. Of course, we've been up here for some time, but we pushed up to $123,000. We've had a little bit of a pullback. Oh my God, a pullback to 112, but that's okay. This is all part of what you want to see in a bull trend. You want to see the rise, the retrace, the continuation, and everybody loses their mind on the retrace. But all of those of you that are not losing your minds, you're stacking into these incredible dip buying opportunities because the data is suggesting higher and longer. We have an extended sort of sense of a cycle right now. So although there are some metrics showing some of these older coins are moving, we're also seeing this sort of rotation of a lot of people, a lot of coins, not a substantial amount, but a lot of coins that are taking some profits or just changing their investment approach if they've been invested since 2010 or 2011 or 2012. I can understand. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you started with $1,000 or even 5,000 or even $100 in 2010, 2011, you could have hundreds of millions into the billions of dollars. And at some point, you want to stop having that on paper. You want to start, adjusting your life, upgrading different things, buying properties. And of course, there are financialized ways and tools and mechanisms that you can utilize now to where you actually don't need to sell your Bitcoin, but still, all the same, there's a little bit of a rotation of the holder class that we're seeing right now in the market. So a lot of metrics that we've looked at over the period of the last several cycles comparing to now are also changing dynamic because there's different types of players getting involved. So on the one hand, is it a little sad that some people are taking profits on the hundreds of millions of dollars they made? No, it's not sad at all. We're also seeing an overwhelmingly exponential and growing appetite from the Wall Street players. Now, on the one hand, you can speak from a mission or a morality statement of Bitcoin supposed to be outside of the system. On the other hand, if you abstract that and just look at this like an investment class, I don't really give a damn who is buying or selling. I'm looking at the long-term outlook for my investment and what is shaping that now. And right now, what we're seeing is an overwhelming exponential means of capital access channels coming in and support from the most powerful government on earth and other governments out there waking up as well. So let's get into it, everybody. Shout out to everybody that is tuned in here right now. We got about 1,000 people in the room. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. My name's Kellam. Welcome to the BitLab Academy family. Also, shout out to our channel partners, BitcoinIRA.com. We've got some big retirement news today that is also kind of further supporting these markets. And also shout out to Arculus. Make sure you protect your crypto, protect your future. GetArculus.com. It's spelled just like that. You see there right there. GetArculus.com. Use code BitLab, BITLAB20, BitLab20 for 20% off. Again, protect your crypto, protect your future. But let's get into it because we got some major things. Now, when we're looking at what's going on in the market, what we're seeing right now, this is that exact metric I was just talking about. Now, part of it is this is the volume. We were talking about coin value days destroyed before, but what we see, this is very important. What we're seeing right now in the market is a very clear signal for bullishness. The taker buy dormant and taker sell dormant indicators are designed to highlight positive and negative market periods. What we're seeing here is the taker buy dominant. I don't know why I said dormant, but what we're seeing, the taker buy, the buys are dominating right here. And this is as a price action is pushing to the upside in an incredible fashion. On the one hand, we all still have this cognitive dissonance where we think, but Bitcoin's different than the market. But then at the same time, a lot of people are saying, but Bitcoin's above $110,000. Isn't this high? Can it really go that much higher? Well, we're getting literal exponential increase on the amount of capital, not only access to this market, but also the awareness to this market and the appetite that's growing because of this, especially with the very sad and bearish and just belabored data that we're seeing from the legacy systems. And I mean, it's just like, it's just done. And Dizzy Gang says, where you been, my dude? I was in Maui. I was with my family. I was with my girl. I was first time let's talk about this because this is actually important. First time in about 4 years, almost 5, that I took a full break from the market. Now, I was planning on streaming while I was out there, and I was like, you know what? You need to get into the real life atmosphere that we're doing this all for. You need to break away. If you are just entirely living inside of a candle on a chart and MACD and RSI and on chain and streaming and X and YouTube, I mean, at some point, you've got to take a step back so you can reassess, so you can flush out, reset your mind, come back, recharge, and I am fresh. I got that good bronze skin. I'm feeling good. My mind is clear. I feel excited about looking at the market again. And on some level, you feel like, but what if the market moves while I'm away? Well, it's always going to move. Who cares? You need to have a strategy in place regardless of what you do. So if you do step away for a week, it's not like, what if I missed something? And I took a snapshot. I'll actually pull it up. I took a snapshot before and after I left. On the day that I left, I took a snapshot. And then yesterday when I landed, I took another. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. It is right here. Let me pull it up. This was the day that I left. This is today. So this was the day that I left. Bitcoin was at 118,000, Ethereum 3,800, Solana 191, Sui 4, okay, whatever. But what we see where we're at right here, okay, Bitcoin is down in a week and a half, $3,000. Does that really matter in the scope of 115,000 to 118,000? No, this is all just noise. Ethereum just under 3,700. Okay, it was at 38 before. Solana 168. Okay, took a little bit more of a dip, but the point here is the world doesn't end because you're not inside the charts. Now, if your entire strategy is going to completely disintegrate because you're not staring at a chart all day long every day, tuning into every YouTube channel, then your strategy is completely flawed. Why are you doing this if you're not able to live your life while you're also trying to expand your future? We got to find life balance here. You deserve it, KK, and more. We missed you, but hey, we are happy for you. Hey, shout out Ugan Sky. I appreciate you. This is Base Nate. Reset the retardation. So, hey, let's reset it. Let's get it out. Let's get back to, I'm gonna get banned on here. Dizzy Gang, shout out to you. Brian Wild. We got the whole crew in here. Big love to each and every one of you. And Ultra, Maga Vibe, XRP. Hey, the whales are starting to sell some of that, but that's okay. It also had a big move recently. We've got about 1,200 people in the room, but I got a lot I want to get through. So let's go ahead and continue on because we want to make sure we're getting the right data. So let me go over this again. Very important chart signal here is as high as Bitcoin feels like it is. Stop thinking of Bitcoin as being high because the dollar value you're looking at. Look at the data, the fundamental data, and where we're at right now. This green signaled area, much like here, much like here, much like here, before this whole bull market, even here, green, before this resurgence of, I think it was about 36K up to $70,000. Also here, before this entire parabola back here in 2020 into 2021, we are seeing the buy volume is dominating the market. So not only is buy volume dominating, we're seeing retail play stupid games and buy, sell, trade. I'm scared. I sell. While at the same time, we're seeing the big major players, the institutional players, big money is stacking like you would not believe. So when we're looking at this type of data, stop getting so focused on the price in US dollars of Bitcoin. Ignore that. Look at what the dominant narratives are in the data that are suggesting, is the market getting weak or is the outlook getting stronger? And in this case, just this chart alone shows that the buyers are in control. Now, beyond that, we also see the topping cloud, 126K and 134K are the doors to the final act. Notice this does not say 126K may be the top, 134K may be the top. No, this region is going to be the gateway. Like we had the mega pump gateway at 110,000 and then we zipped up to 123. Now this sort of zone will be the gateway to that parabola, the breakout parabola, or very aggressive continued buying into wherever the market cycle top is for this cycle. Now remember, Bitcoin does not have a top because the US dollar has no end in basically printing. The US dollar is an infinite money printing mechanism, just like every other fiat currency out there. So when you were speaking of tops, please notice that we're talking about it just on whether you're talking about a midterm or a macro outlook for that particular cycle. Any top we've had in Bitcoin has always been broken. Every single top. And if it was a top, how could it be a top if it has been broken every single time? So is this the top? No, because we went higher. Is this the top? No, we went higher. Were these tops? No, we went higher. Here, here, here. When we go even further back, okay, this was the top. See, this word is stupid. Bitcoin top is the stupidest word we've ever heard because people are not understanding this market has got so much higher to go over the next 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, 50 years. So let's look at these tops as dumb money opportunities saying, oh, okay, people got a little excessive and exuberant here on the buying pressure. Long-term holders took some profit, so now it gets weak with short-term holders, basically baby hands, paper hands here, and you get a sell-off. This was obviously an excellent buying opportunity. Sell-off, excellent buying opportunity. Sell-off, excellent buying opportunity. Anytime you see any sort of, whether it's midterm, macro, any sort of cycle, that you're looking at, whatever time frame, when you have that rotation from the top to the bottom, it's case in point, you're trying to identify when you're getting these shifts to really take advantage of. Excuse me. I had to cough that whole time. Now, we got some more stuff in here because it is getting magical in these data. So again, 126K to 134K will not be the top, in my opinion, much like here with On-Chain College and much like we see right here with the Bitcoin value map. And what is this? We've always broached this overvalued bar here, and then you have the basically heavily overvalued bar or marker here. We've always had like, look, rejection, 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 breakout, support, launch. And as this happens, the heavily overvalued band here really melts to the upside. Same thing here. Look, it really tries to break there, gets rejected. And then finally, look, breaks through it, finds some support, and pushes up into this heavily overvalued. We have not gotten anywhere near this yet. And this also hasn't had that melt up period. You see this melt up, you see this melt up, you see this, even if we went directly up just on one candle, this would suggest the top would be at about $185,000. But we've never had basically a 1 week candle just go straight up and the market be over. This would do its work to bend up, a little consolidation, push up, a little consolidation, push up, you see? And so what we're seeing right here is that the projected tops of what this will be for this cycle are also on a steady rise. Because if we look back here, this would be April 2024. A suggested top here on the heavily overvalued was $93,000. Well, what is the price right now? The price is above $115,000. And yet, as the price is continuing to stair step to the upside, now we've got this projected top band at about $185,000. And it's going to go higher from here, in my opinion. So let's salute this chart and say, I'm stacking like my world depends on it, because it does, especially when you consider the malfeasance of government everywhere and the infinite money printing. So buyers are in dominant buying mode right now. The top gateway is on the horizon and the projected top is only getting higher. And then we also see accumulation addresses still off the charts. This is the addresses, the wallets out there that have been buying, and essentially over 75% of what they buy basically doesn't move. So you're able to identify on chain what these types of wallet addresses that basically just buy and hold are doing, and they're stacking like there's no tomorrow. I mean, look at this weighed against even the previous cycles. I mean, this is exponential. So it doesn't matter that we're seeing, oh my God, this wallet with 80,000 Bitcoin sold. Who gives a literal F? You need to realize that, because this is getting so far eclipsed by institutional appetite that is just like not a piranha. This is the behemoth great. This is the megalodon here of just multiple different megalodon institutions stacking like mad. So I don't care if there's even a Satoshi wallet that comes out here and sells some, because all it will be doing is rotating into new massive long-term whale accounts. What you need to do Every single one of you. And this is not financial advice. But what you need to realize is your best way to combat the current system and to also make sure Bitcoin stays the asset for the people is to make sure that you're also buying and doing self-custody, not holding it through an ETF or some other nonsense. And that's fine for your 97-year-old grandfather, your 72-year-old mother. But if you're watching this channel and you have this understanding at even interest at this level within crypto, the best thing you can do for this financial system, this new age, is to self-custody your crypto and make sure you're basically holding it outside of these institutional systems that are basically repurposing into a Wall Street 2.0. Now, next thing up, we also got this. The ultra large accounts over 10,000 and retail investors less than one Bitcoin, over 10,000 Bitcoin and less than one Bitcoin, have on average accumulated over the past 15 days. You're seeing this with all this blue here. Even these middle wallet addresses, 100 to 1,000 and also 10 to 100 and also 1 to 10, we're seeing that kind of got a little spotty, meaning dark blue means they're really buying, dark red means they're selling. And you see this was very blue here on the very top and the very bottom, the smallest holders and the largest holders. But then in this middle range, it kind of got neutral. Didn't necessarily get to distribution, meaning selling. But now you see this is starting to trend back towards blue here on this last band right here. And this is across every wallet address. This is the type of thing I like to see. Okay. We're getting some positive data here, especially on the heels of the end of July, where we just had some of the biggest legislation ever passed in support of crypto and an executive order also coming out later today. Let's actually hear what Mike Novogratz has to say about this. Whether or not you've heard this before, just take a quick listen and I'm going to highlight something here for you real quick.
Bull market, enjoy it while it lasts. Never does. We're in a bull market. Trump last night came out and talked about crypto assets being eligible for 401ks. I mean, that's a monster pool of capital. And what we're just seeing is through these treasury companies, through all kinds of different avenues, the aperture of being able to buy crypto being widened and widened and widened. More avenues bringing people into the tent. I think one of the things that I actually didn't even comprehend is these treasury companies have done so well. The public equity markets are so much bigger than what the crypto markets were. And so as we're really broadening our reach through public equities into our asset class, you're just seeing tons of money pour in.
Every time these different executive orders are getting passed, there's a stronger reasoning and comprehension of positive possibility with these assets for some of the biggest asset managers on earth. Of course, we've already got BlackRock and Fidelity and VanEck and the level of assets under management that is just absolutely melted exponentially with what we're seeing with the Bitcoin ETFs, right? But then now also what we're seeing with the start of Bitcoin treasury companies, what we're seeing with the start of Ethereum treasury companies, what we're seeing with the awareness of this asset class and the type of numbers and the projections that it can bring, especially now with regulatory clarity, is nothing short of an overwhelmingly bullish outlook for this asset class. And Wall Street's here to make money. They are here to make money. And when they start seeing this and they see you got the positive go ahead, we're only going to see these numbers melt to the upside. Does that mean we can't have a weekly downtrend? No, you can, but you need to realize that because the bullish outlook is so strong, stop getting so worried in a downturn. Use those downturns as buying opportunities. That's what we all need to realize. And then we look at this, we have this executive order that's going to be signed about the 401ks and, getting access to Bitcoin and crypto. Well, currently the 401k plans hold around 8.7 to 8.9, about $9 trillion. But in the investment retirement account asset class, okay, it could be 10 trillion. No, but it actually, when you take into account all of this actually gets up into potentially the 25 to $30 trillion range. So when you're seeing these types of things go out and you get different types of publications and media and video and news covering this, and you also see the types of numbers that have printed over the last 16 years with Bitcoin, and also what we've seen with the ETFs alone in the last year and a half, and the forward projections, the amount of capital that's coming in here is nothing short of spectacular. And that's important to realize because these types of stories are only getting more common. Sheetz, the popular convenience store chain with over, I've never heard of Sheetz. Cool. Who cares if you've heard of it? This is the data. Over 750 locations is now offering 50% off purchases paid with Bitcoin and crypto daily from 3 to 7 p.m. Now, how big is Sheetz? How big is Sheetz? Let's actually come over here. Let's do Sheetz. You don't understand. I think it's like a $6.8 billion, $6.2 billion convenience store chain. So sometimes I think all of us do this. We say, I've never heard of that. That doesn't matter. This is a $6 billion convenience store that is now going to basically offer discounts for people purchasing with Bitcoin and crypto. Now, why would you do that? And this is going to be a persistent story. The reason why they would do that is because it creates an incentive structure for people to come in and spend Bitcoin and crypto that then they can put into their treasury on one capacity. The other capacity is also, it brings a whole new, basically, avenue of marketing approach to bringing new consumers into their stores. They're not going to only spend Bitcoin and crypto, but they're also going to gain customers. So they have basically treasury strategy, new customer acquisition strategy, and also free news media. Now, this isn't going to last forever. We're getting tons of free news media and publicity for these different institutions and companies that are doing this now, because you have to realize we're still early. We're still at the leading edge of this asset class for the next 15 years probably, but it is exponential impact right now, which is why we still see so much news media about Michael Saylor's buys weekly and Metaplanet and Sharplink and Similar Scientific and GameStop, because they're at the cutting edge. They're at the very leading edge of this, of kind of bucking the trend of people still being like, I mean, even when I was in Hawaii this last week, I was talking, I was wearing a shirt like this, and she's like, that's like a new credit card, right? And I'm like, we're still so early, guys. Manny Sharon Shoots, where you buy the paper to roll up. Shout out to you. Honest Ondo price prediction. Hey, well, let's look at Ondo. We got some more stuff on, we got some more things to cover here. So let's get into it. Let me close that one. Okay, we got the accumulation address is still in, the demand is off the charts, and people are wondering if we topped. We got, never ending dominoes falling of major multi-billion dollar institutions and companies out there creating new Bitcoin acquisition vehicles in this case, and offering discounts for for consumers to come in and use a Bitcoin and crypto for purchases. And then we also have got, what is this? Isn't ETH dead? Weren't people saying ETH was dead? Only look at all these other altcoins. ETH is going to start the largest altcoin season we've ever seen. We've seen major growth that retraced all the way full round trips last year in March, and then again at the end of this last year. But that was without ETH moving. What happens when ETH then also starts to move? And we're seeing this. Ethereum whales just went all in on the dip. So smart money's buying the dips while retail's going, well, I guess that was a move. Let me sell. Well, who are you selling to? If you're selling in a moment of fear, who's buying? Somebody that is either dumber or smarter, depending on where you're at in the cycle. In this case, the smart money is stacking like a mofo in these dips. The biggest net inflow in months, right at the lows. Historic inflow, maximum conviction. Ignore it now, and you'll chase it later. This is from Merlin the trader. And of course, we've got other data on this, because check out this Ethereum breakout pattern. I mean, massive symmetrical triangle here. We also have the MACD that's already crossed over here, much like we saw right here. What we see, boom, all the way to the top side of the range. The difference here is Ethereum's at the top side of the range, and we're just getting this bullish crossover and a retest support continuation. Now, even if we don't get the ETH breakout into just omega candles now, we are coming into the apex of this pattern. What does that mean? We're coming into the period where these two, the lower support band here, this support trend line, is converging with the upper resistance line that's come down into the zone. So even if this rejects here, we're coming into the decision point. We're coming into the time that matters of when a move is going to be compressed so tight, it's got to break out. And what direction would you think it's going to go? Well, what does the data suggest? We just got monumental regulatory clarity and news supporting the further integration and deployment of things that are very highly tied into Ethereum, aka stablecoins. We also are getting Ethereum treasuries that are getting started. My bet on this would be that move is going to be up. Now, does that mean we can't get a move to the downside first to wash out those weak ass hands? In fact, it's probably likely that we do. Now, the question is going to be to what magnitude is that? But the point here is the dominant flow that we're seeing here is a likely move of this. If you're projecting this out, is going to be up and to the right. So this is freaking phenomenal. And then we got the broader altcoin market. I think we're on the verge of something huge for altcoins, says Mustache or El Crypto Prof. We said, have you noticed that the total 2 is on the verge of breaking the all-time high of 2021? We still have not done that. Everybody's been so focused on the all-time high of Bitcoin, we're not realizing altcoins have not had their move at all yet. Now, here's where it gets interesting because we talked about it's taking longer this cycle. Well, these two patterns may look different, but when you look at these at closer inspection, they're the same pattern. What am I saying? Got the curve here, the breakout, rising level of support, flat level of resistance, ascending triangle, the breakout of this into this parabolic wave. Okay, well, let's look at this here. We got the curve, this curved bottom here and to a reversal from bear market to bull market. Okay, boom. Now it took a lot longer, but we've got the same thing, rising level of support. So this angled move and a flat level of resistance. And now are we going to get the same order of magnitude pump? Probably not, because it's a lot larger market cap, but this is still going to be tremendous. Now, is this going to go from 1 trillion to 15 trillion this cycle? I mean, I think it would be fantastic if it did. I think it's highly unlikely. I think just for the total 2, which is everything outside of Bitcoin, right? It's Ethereum and all the alts. I could see this going comfortably into the $4 trillion range, but likely somewhere between 4 and 6 trillion. Anything beyond that is just an overwhelming gift. I'm talking specifically this cycle, like meaning into next year. Now, eventually this is going to be in the, 40 trillion, 60 trillion, $100 trillion range. It's overwhelmingly likely because the entire world, global trade, commerce, business, I mean, everything is moving into blockchain. So when you consider where we're at right now, it's like we're sitting here at 1.46 trillion. Now, again, I want to preface that. I'm not saying we're going to 40, 60, $100 trillion next year. No, I'm saying over the next 30 years, we'll be getting way up into these, 40 trillion beyond. This cycle, I'm expecting 4 to 6 trillion. That's just altcoins, not including Bitcoin. But this is what we're on the cusp of, and people are worried. Even if we had another bit of a washout, I still think we're going to get that move to the upside. And well, why is that? Well, some of those reasons are things like Chainlink. Chainlink Reserve just got announced today. Link, accumulation machine driven by protocol adoption. This is incredible. So now they're going to be basically driving through the utility and the use case of Chainlink, also the ability to stack more Chainlink and cause basically a perpetual buying cycle to stack into their own reserves that they can use for furthering the ecosystem, which is phenomenal. So Chainlink is only getting further entwined, and this is very tied into many of those regulations that we've talked about. I could not be more bullish on Chainlink, and it's not only Chainlink, you also see things like Ondo, which are also integrated with Chainlink, but this is what we need to understand. Do you see these? U.S. stock market, $62 trillion. Total U.S. GDP, $29 trillion. Total treasuries market, 28.6 trillion. Current tokenized T-bill market size, 7 billion. Ondo TVL, 1.4 billion. Now, this is impactful for not only Chainlink and Ondo, but also things like Solana and Avalanche and Ethereum. All of these things are going to be the different platforms and different mechanisms, and some are going to choose Ondo, some are going to choose Solana, some are going to choose Injective, all doing different types of things in a similar way to tokenizing assets, real world asset tokenization. We got stable coins that are going to be backing US treasuries. Well, those are going to need to be tokenized. They're also going to need proof of reserves like we see on Chainlink. This is going to be this network effect of some very key different altcoins out there that are going to have major impacts on this next wave of global commerce and what the standard's going to be. Now, is every altcoin in this next alt season going to pump? Maybe for a moment or two, but in reality, the things that are going to pump the largest are going to be the things that are the foundation for this next evolution of global trade, global finance, global commerce. This is what we're looking at right now, and we're in the middle of it. So stack smart, because it's about to get crazy. That word "about" is also going to feel like it's taking forever. But when you look back in 7 years and be like, man, how did I miss that? Why was I so impatient? And Ondo, I mean, they keep hinting at a huge number of new integrations that they have coming very soon with some of the top assets out there. So shout out to those of you that have been stocking Ondo. And I mean, look right here, Ondo leads RWA, backed by BlackRock, 1.4 billion tokenized treasuries, ETF filed, DC approved, $2.7 billion market cap. This is just the beginning. We're talking about one of the biggest tokenization stories in the history of crypto, with the approval of the biggest and partnership of the biggest asset managers out there in the history of the world. And we're looking at it with a $2.7 billion market cap, where Dogecoin, which is a meme coin, reached near $80 billion market cap last cycle. This screams to me opportunity. And that's why I stack. You guys can do what you want to do, but I'm stacking. And then we got, remember, Aerodrome, our baby girl here. Coinbase is about to flip the switch. Every base token. This is why it pays to watch Discover Crypto, to watch BitLab Academy, to tune in on the Discover Investments Group Discord. That link is pinned in the top of the live chat there if you're watching here on YouTube. But make sure you understand the context of this market. Because if you don't understand the context of this market, you see this tweet and don't realize why this is overwhelmingly bullish for things like Aerodrome. This is every base token, meme, or utility will soon be searchable and tradable by 8 million Coinbase users. You don't need listings anymore. You don't need to get listed on. You can be within the base ecosystem. Now, why is that important for Aerodrome? Aerodrome is the DEX for base. So now everything that's on the base ecosystem that you're trading on Aerodrome is all immediately going to be accessible through Coinbase as well. So there's a huge amount of liquidity coming, and this is phenomenal. So we get over here and we look, for instance, at Aerodrome. We see, massive move. This is about when it got announced that Coinbase did $100 million market buy, not limit, but a market buy that they publicized. I think it was, I can't remember this. Yeah, this is last February. And that was the signal that they're really going to take a huge step in activating and integrating with Aerodrome as their main DEX for Base. Base is a Coinbase ecosystem. Now, what we're seeing here to me is opportunity, because Aerodrome broke down, it came back up. It's kind of rejecting on this kind of a rising wedge, whatever. But we're seeing that this has come down, and it's starting to get a bit of a reversal here. This is on the 3-day chart. Let's go to the 12-hour. So look at this. So we did lose it, washed people out. Oh, rejected. It's definitely going to break down. Really washed people out, came right back up into the zone. Now, this is on the cusp. Look, money flow coming back right to the zero line. RSI rounding bottom, bottomed out, little head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders here. Broke up. It's still sitting here, hitting its head on this 50 line right here. This when it's below this 50 line, this means weakness is dominating. When it's above this 50 line, that means strength is dominating. So it's on the cusp of breaking back into strength dominating, while money flow is also about to go positive, meaning you're watering the garden. So if you water the garden, what happens? That means your plants can grow. That's what we want to see. We have money flow coming up, much like we see right here. Look at this. This is on the cusp of that right here. And I mean, just boom, the market was already reversed. So right here, money flow coming up. RSI is about to tackle that coming up. Screams bullish setup to me. Then we got Ondo, which also just got listed on Robinhood, in addition to all the other positive news about everything they're doing with RWAs. Now look at this, sort of inverse head and shoulders here, kind of ugly sideways, but the money flow, boom, popped back positive. RSI, look, it was rejecting. Look at this, perfect. Rejecting right at the 50 line. Okay, reject, boom, found support on the moving average, and now it's back above 50, and the money flows popping up above this. Now, this is going to be held hostage, I think, a little bit right here because we have these highs, these lows right here. But we also have this blue area that we've had highlighted for months. And it has proven to be chop zone, support, chop zone, rejection, rejection, rejection. Okay, pushed up. It's kind of a support. Now, boom. Could this get rejected again? It could. But it only leads me to be more expectant of a more bullish breakout later if this does get rejected. Now, what I mean by rejected is I don't mean like just a little blip here. I mean like, could this get rejected and come lower and come all the way back down to 80 cents? Sure. But I'm feeling this tidal shift happening. We got the full moon in a couple days, which isn't necessarily a super technical indicator, but it's been pretty on point for the last period of time. We've got questionability right now about the new tariffs and stuff that have popped out. Aerodrome going to buy me some cool toys I need for the farm. Kelly turned me on to Aero way back yonder. Shout out Sparrowhawk. So this, I mean, Ondo is just looking like a big coiled setup to me. Like it's trying to get the move, but once we clear back above this blue zone, $5, then we're looking at this next zone up here, which we've had also highlighted for some time, this $20 to $25 sort of zone, and then it's onward and upward. Bittensor Tau, back inside the zone. Remember, we got this over here at about, I think, yeah, 232 is where we got, and they pushed up. We added some more. It moved down. It pushed back up. Look, head and shoulders. We talked about this breaking back down. It did. It broke back down. Came right. Where did this come? Price came right into where all this body is. You see, you can just highlight this, and you see it's right where this price memory was just rejecting, and now it came down support into a W formation. Double bottom formation. See, boom, 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 boom. And what does the money flow look like? It's coming up very sharply, but we don't have the strength yet. See how the RSI is, it doesn't have the strength yet. It came up. I would kind of wait for this to tackle this 50 line. This is, I mean, if you're, for me, I'm comfortable buying here because I'm able to endure. If it drops, I just buy more because I'm kind of more position trading, taking positions for the next several months. Now on the short-term trades, this doesn't look like it's ready yet because this has come up and it's fine. The strength is not there. Money flow is trying to come up, but I can tell just from this little arc that there's some weakness here. Watch, if we go to 4 hour, yeah, you see this is trying to come back up, but it's still negative money flow. We want to see this. Now on the 4 hour, this is broken above the 50 line. So I would be waiting for a breakout of this. Boom, come back, retest, and then launch. XRP. People, you either absolutely love XRP or absolutely hate it. And you know what? I'm happy for any of you to hold any asset that you, as long as you're doing some diligence on it. Don't just be a guy that argues for a coin just because you hold it. It's good. Now, understand what you're looking at. Okay, kind of a bit of a breakdown here, but we see a breakout, retest, boom, but the money flow, look at this. Money flow is not agreeing yet. See this? Money flow is not signaling this wants to go higher. This, and the RSI is a little weak here. I'd be waiting for a further signal there. Avalanche. I mean, it looks very similar to what we just saw on XRP, but money flow is kind of it's neutral. I mean, there's no flow here. This is neutral. RSI It has broken above the 50 line, but it's looking very weak. And see how this is lower highs here, but the prices too. It's not too bad. I think everybody's waiting on some clarity, a little bit more clarity with all the changes in the tariffs and all this kind of nonsense. But okay, here we go. Injective. I shared some charts on Injective on my X over the last while I was in Maui. I mean, kind of ugly double top there with bearish divergence. See this right here? Lower highs on the RSI, higher highs on the price action. And what happened? Bearish divergence signals this is kind of a fake out, and it did. It came back down. Now, the problem I have with this is this did break down. This is a lower low from this previous low. And if this comes up and gets a lower high, this could signal another, let's just say a better opportunity lower. But I'm not convinced of that yet because this is, it looks like it's trying to find its footing for bullishness. But it also looks like it's trying to fake out in both directions. Someone give Powell a handy. So yeah, it was funny. And then for my doggy holders out there, dog got a little bit of a rip this morning. It went up about 11%. It's up about 9% now, but yeah, 11, 12, 13%. But this is, you know, when the exciting, when we get a positive jolt in the market, I'm expecting this to just go absolutely ballistic to the upside. We are breaking out a bit of this downtrend on the 4-hour. We see this right here. We're kind of breaking out of this. So this is nice. Money flow kind of coming back up. Look, popping strength here. So, I mean, I'd be watching this zone here, this 3437 zone right here. We can actually just drag this across like that. But I think once we get back above this, I think moving up to 5.2 is going to be pretty quick, and then up to 6, and then, you know, get back up here to 1 cent, but super strong community. But yeah, but I got to go. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let me see who's live right now. We can send the fam over. Let's see who's live. Maybe Tommy Boy Crown is on. Let's see. Nobody's live. I can't send it to nobody. All right. Well, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure as you're watching, make sure that you hit the like button. I don't know what's happening there. What did I select? Make sure that you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Join as a member here. Get involved. I'm going to be sharing a lot more member streams in the mornings. So big love to all of you. Make sure you're getting active here. If you're watching on Rumble, make sure it says following there. Hit that like button. Show some love. Get active in the live chat. Get in the Discord that it's pinned there in the top of the live chat right here. Join the Discord. It's because it's not just me. It's me, Drew, Joshua, Jake, DZ, TJ. All of us are in there. DeFi crypto airdrops. All of it is there. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. We're going to be there's so much cool things coming that we've been working on in the background. And I appreciate you all letting me take a week off. I know I was a little bit inactive. I wasn't really in Discord either, but we got a whole troop in there now. But I'm back. I'm going to be active in the Discord. There's going to be member streams coming. We got the daily stuff coming here too. I got some educational content I'm going to be sharing with you all too. For the members, you all are going to get all of it, but I'm going to share some of it, some select stuff to the public. So make sure you are subscribed. But that's all I got today, everybody. I love you. I appreciate you. Adios, muchachos. Over and out.